An isolated archive facility in northern Utah. Winter dusk settles. Fluorescent lights buzz faintly overhead as snow hisses against metal-paneled walls. The present. Erica Vale, a once renowned investigative journalist fallen from grace, arrives at the U.S. Park Service's Restricted Records Annex, Box 173. The building is a squat, rusted structure tucked behind an unmapped service road, guarded by an indifferent federal clerk who hands over a key and vanishes into the storm. The door creaks open into an atmosphere of abandonment. Dust thickens the air like ash, and inside, rows of forgotten government file crates, each labeled in code. The only box not covered in plastic is a dented green metal footlocker. Stenciled on the side, Box 173. Archive Level Red. Inside are 5 accordion folders and an old ranger's logbook stained with water damage. On the inside of the lid, written in crayon, "Do not let her open it." Erica's motivation. After the high-profile implosion of her career, fabricated sources, a ruined reputation, this story could resurrect her legacy. The government won't go on record, but something in Box 173 made it into a classified internal memo titled "Park Incidents Requiring Ethical Non-Disclosure." Every folder inside appears to hold a first-person narrative, rangers' field reports, recovered objects, a melted shoe, a cassette tape, a child's drawing, and photographs too disturbing to be hoaxes. She begins to record field notes, using her voice as a tether to reason. Instability creeps in. As Erica reads folder number 1, she begins hearing quiet sounds not picked up by her recorder. A slow dragging, the low murmur of wind, and at one point, a voice saying her name in a tone that sounds more disappointed than threatening. A blackout flickers through the building, and when the lights return, an additional folder sits on the table. The 6th folder, unlabeled, not weathered like the others. Inside, a glossy color photo of a child standing in front of a ranger station marked Caldera Watch, Yellowstone Division. The child is Erica. The timestamp reads June 15, 1964. She was born in 1988. Along with the photo is a note written in her own handwriting. Not all stories start where you think. Some are planted. Ending beat. Erica stares at the picture for hours before rechecking the locker. The 6th folder is gone. Her voice recorder continues running, even though she's turned it off. The tape now loops 3 seconds of static that hums a faint melody. As she prepares to open folder number 2, the wall clock rewinds 1 hour. It is still ticking backward. End chapter 1. Acadia National Park, Maine, late autumn 1957. Mist clings to the lake's surface. Pines rustle under a whispering wind. Water clarity is so deep it reflects not just the trees, but the suggestion of architecture below. Erica's discovery, present day. The second folder is labeled simply Acadia, Event D. Inside are hand-scrawled ranger logs, 2 black and white photos of a submerged stone arch, and a brittle audio reel tagged Final Testimony L. Bardeen. The accompanying notes describe a missing person report that was never filed publicly, attributed to historical inconsistencies. The evidence implies that the structure, a ruin resembling a half-submerged cathedral, was seen by dozens over the years, always just before they vanished. The past. Lyle Bardeen's account, 1957. Lyle, a reserved marine biology student, hikes into Acadia with a friend, June Callow, to record frog population changes. His journals begin rational and scientific, but soon shift into uncertainty after they spot an impossible silhouette beneath Jordan Pond, a column, then an archway, at a depth no sonar can read. June becomes obsessed. She says she hears chanting from under the trees at sunset, and begins humming tuneless melodies in her sleep. Lyle, deeply unsettled, records her sleep songs. They repeat across 4 consecutive nights with perfect pitch and no conscious memory. They descend one dawn into the lake using an old dive suit and a tether. Only Lyle surfaces. The descent. In fragmented pages recovered from his soaked notebook, Lyle describes the following. "It's not a building, it's a throat. The arch trembled when she touched it. The water went quiet. I could hear something enormous inhaling. The stone wasn't wet, it was skin." He ends the journal with a sketch. The cathedral beneath the waterline, open-mouthed and adorned with stained glass eyes. But these windows change design every time he redraws them, as if reacting. Strange Recurrence, 1982 to 2017. Other entries in the folder reference blurred photographs and ranger testimonies from parks across the country. Crater Lake, Voyagers, even inland reservoirs in Oklahoma. All depict similar ruins, always under the waterline, never present on follow-up dives. One ranger scribbles, "Same sunken arch, different park, different century." The survivor returns. Lyle Bardeen, presumed drowned, appears again in 1999. He is found on a beach in Arizona, barefoot and confused, dressed in 1950s hiking gear. He's dehydrated, sunburned, and won't speak. Until he sings. He begins to hum in a low vibrato that builds into full Gregorian-style chants. A linguist working with the CDC identifies the language as liturgical Latin, though the syntax is unlike any canonical composition. Most unnerving, his vocal cords show no signs of ever having spoken before. It's as if the song learned him. Erica's present. Dissonance bleeds in. As Erica finishes reading, she begins hearing the chant from the tape, though she never pressed play. She shuts her notebook. The lake photo is gone. In its place, a Polaroid of her own reflection captured against the dark glass of the office window. Behind her, in perfect focus, an inverted stone archway rising behind the snowy trees. Great Smoky Mountains National Park, 1974 and present day. Fractured timelines overlap. The folder that smells like smoke. The third folder in box 173 is heat-warped, edges blackened as if it had been plucked from a campfire moments before. Inside are incident reports, ranger audio logs, and fragments of a journal with burned-out gaps. There's also a melted brass locket wrapped in wax paper. As Erica lifts the lid, a thin line of soot falls from the folder onto her notes. The accompanying ranger memo is brief. Survivor claims to have worked the fire line in 1945, 1963, 1974, 1997, and 2012. Claims to be 17 in each encounter. No personnel record exists. No age progression. No death report. Investigation suppressed due to unreproducible burn phenomena. Past events. The Fire Watchers Report, 1974. Ranger Will Ashcombe recounts a late-season fire blooming inside healthy trees. Flames blooming outward from the core. No source, no spread pattern. Some victims found unburned but dead from internal ignition. Lungs scorched but clothing untouched. Midway through the fire watch, Ashcombe describes rescuing a teen hiker named Eli Morrow. Barefoot and staring, arms covered in soot but unburned. The boy's only response, "I heard the roots speak. They said it was waking up again." Temporal instability and the survivor. Eli is booked into medical for dehydration. He claims to have been helping fight a fire in 1945. The staff dismisses this as trauma. Then the ranger captain recognizes Eli's face. He's seen it before. In a photo from an old, unsolved missing persons case pinned above his desk. Eli Morrow, age 17. Vanished 1945. Fingerprint scans come back identical. The present timeline shifts. Erica cross-references the reports with a declassified Forest Service aerial photo that appears charred around the edges. But as she adjusts the contrast, another face becomes visible beneath layers of damage. Her own, in ranger uniform, dated 1974. Her hands tremble. The office's air grows inexplicably warm. The smell of pine resin singes her nostrils. Final flashpoint: the return of Eli. Erica visits a source listed in the margin of the report, a retired ranger living in a hospice ward. The man hasn't spoken in weeks, but when he sees the melted locket, he whispers, "Still not time." From behind the oxygen tank, a man steps into view. Her age, eyes charcoal dark, same soot-lined arms. It's Eli. He stands still, then bursts into flame. not consumed, but illuminated from within. The sprinklers don't activate. No heat reaches Erica. He burns until his skin glows, crackles, and then simply fades, leaving behind a single word scorched into the bedsheets: remember. Closing beat. When Erica returns to the folder, it's now blank. The pages white. The locket gone. But in her journal, a line has been added in her writing: "We are older than the ashes." Denali National Park, Alaska. Winter 1993 and present day temporal bleed-through. Inside a repurposed National Weather Station. Snow thrums against blackout shutters. The lights buzz with icy blue flicker. Digital equipment displays impossible readings. Interior temps below freezing, despite heaters roaring. Erica's present, a folder laced with frost. The fourth folder feels cold to the touch, absurdly so. Frost traces the edges like veins. When she opens it, a faint crack echoes across the archive floor. Inside, pathology reports, surveillance logs, and a black and white photo of a girl preserved in ice, eyes half open. Someone has written in ink across her cheek in reverse: "You were always here." A VHS tape labeled Room 27 Walk-in Incident is clipped to the folder with an expired hazmat tag. Erica notes her hands are trembling again. Past events: The Frozen Child, 1993. A ranger patrol uncovers what appears to be a glacial anomaly, a sealed pocket of ice just off the main trail. Inside is a perfectly preserved young girl, roughly 8 years old, skin pale blue, dress dry, fingers curled loosely at her sides. The station's team airlifts the block into their cold storage unit, intending to notify authorities. But she's alive. Monitors register shallow breathing. Her eyes flicker beneath lids laced with frost. She doesn't respond to words, but a trail cam positioned near the glacial site picks up a low rhythmic hum around midnight, matching the melody from the Acadia Lake recordings. Behavioral escalation. Staff complain of insomnia, hallucinations of frost spidering up mirrors, and the feeling of being observed from inside their own mouths. One technician reports hearing laughter from within the freezer, childlike but slowed down. A senior researcher, driven by obsession, breaks protocol and opens the containment unit. He's found hours later, flesh burned by cold, lips locked in a smile. In his final lab notes, "She was learning me." The second discovery, and the fracture begins. 2 weeks later, another frozen body is uncovered, this time in a collapsed meat freezer in Anchorage, 120 miles away. Identical in posture, clothing, and internal readings. But when the ice is cleared enough to reveal the face, the researcher screams and collapses. The girl is Erica. Not metaphorically, not symbolically. Her DNA, dental records, even a scar from a childhood bike accident match perfectly. Estimated age, 9. Year of birth on file, 1988. But she never lived in Alaska. Her parents never filed a missing report. Erica's present. Collapse in real time. In the archive office, Erica watches the attached VHS tape. It's grainy, black and white, recorded in the walk-in unit where the first girl was held. For the first 10 minutes, stillness. Then, movement. Slowly, the girl in the ice moves her hand, presses it to the inside of the glass wall. The lights flicker. Her lips part in a gentle breath. Behind her on the reflection, Erica is visible, watching from inside the freezer, not behind the camera. Final beat. The tape ends. Static bleeds into Erica's recorder, which now hums softly, not from the device, but from beneath her chair. In her handwritten field journal, new lines have appeared. When the body forgets where it begins, the cold remembers for it. Zion National Park, Utah, 2008 and present day. A maze of sandstone slot canyons known only to seasoned cave divers and unofficial rangers. Rugged silence reigns. Cell signals vanish within the first 500 feet. Locals call one path the throat. Erica's present, a folder that hums. The fifth folder emits a faint vibration when Erica slides it across the desk. Not metaphorical. Her digital recorder picks up a 9 Hz subharmonic, barely about threshold for human detection. Inside, audio logs recovered from a lost diver's helmet mic, partial geological surveys, and a linguist's memo stamped in red ink. Cultural impossibility. See cross-referenced files. Acadia, Box 113. Scribbled on the back of one cassette label, "She's already speaking in it." The event, Descent into the Throat, 2008. A spelunker named Dr. Ezra Wine had ventured alone into an unmapped canyon system thought to connect underground aquifers. His final transmission references voices, ancient and mechanical, rising from the stone itself. They don't echo. That's how you know they're not reflections. They're origins. 36 hours of helmet footage are filled with growing auditory interference. In the final 10 minutes, the tone resolves into intelligible speech, but no known language. Except for Erica. Psychological spiral. In the present, Erica translates the phonetic fragments using instinct, not analysis. As she writes, it forms lines from a poem she faintly remembers composing in high school. A private, never-shared piece she titled Naker. Turn her off before she stops pretending. Do not listen. Listening feeds it. There are no rocks, only mouths. She flicks through her old notebooks, kept from adolescence. The poem is there, ink faded, identical, even the line spacing. A voice that listens back. When Erica plays the final section of the diver's log, a whisper responds from her own recorder, not the file. Her name is spoken, twice, once as a warning, once as a welcome. A background hum shifts pitch, harmonizing with the chant from Acadia's lake bed. the same signature heard in the cold storage unit in Denali, the same rhythm as the ticking wall clock counting backward in Chapter 1. Convergence, revelation through symbols. Spectrogram analysis of the whisper reveals a shape, an angular figure resembling a mouth pried open sideways, identical to one scratched into the back of the melted locket from Chapter 3. Erica suddenly remembers drawing it before, not recently, at age 6, on her bedroom wall, in crayon. Ending beat. A final transcript fragment from Dr. Ezra Wine appears below the last page. It's unclear who added it or when. You don't decode the language. You become fluent by remembering what you never learned. Erica hears her own voice repeat the phrase, in harmony. She looks up. Every file cabinet drawer is open. Every folder hums. Redwood National Park, California, 2020 and present day. A dense forest corridor off the main trail. Trees unnaturally symmetrical. Moss grows upward as if defying gravity. An unlisted hiking path known only to online urban legend forums as Section 7 Beta. Erica's present, a corrupted drive. The 6th folder contains no paper, just a corrupted USB stick wrapped in a ranger citation form and tied with a red zip cord. Handwritten on the label, "Do not play until you've forgotten." Erica boots an offline laptop and opens the drive. One video file, bleeding_path_raw.mp4. Oddly, the file size begins at 237 megabytes. But as she copies it to her hard drive, it grows. 243, then 251, and counting. Each click causes the laptop's fan to whine louder. The Livestream Incident, 2020. Originally broadcast by a popular survival streamer known only as Kynan, the video begins like standard hiking fare, gear review, forest trivia, slightly performative dread. But halfway in, the tone shifts. Kynan finds a side trail marked only by a carved spiral symbol, matching one sketched in the Zion Cave Diver's notebook. He jokes it looks like the symbol from that Frozen Girl story, unknowingly referencing Denali. He follows it. That's when viewers start reporting anomalies, audio glitches forming whispered sentences, trails of red moss across his shoulder no one noticed live. Comments begin scrolling with confused timestamps. Didn't he already say that? Wait, didn't we skip ahead? He just referenced a girl in ice. Was that part of this story? Meta bleed. Viewers affected. Soon after the stream, online forums fill with reports of strange phenomena. Memory lapses. I don't remember watching, but the stream was in my history. Forest dreams. I could feel the dirt under my nails. One commenter recounts a line that Erica has not spoken yet. It's not recording us, it's rehearsing us. Some begin receiving email notifications claiming their devices are infected with emotional residue, a phrase taken directly from the Acadia chant translations. Erica's descent. The path loops. Against her better judgment, Erica replays the file. The image distorts. Kynan stands in a clearing, silent, staring at the camera. But now he speaks, in Erica's voice. Word for word, he delivers her notes from Chapter 1, including phrases she never recorded aloud. The background trees twitch subtly, growing taller frame by frame. She checks the file again. It has grown to 4.2 gigabytes. The viewer is the mirror. After a sleepless night, Erica receives a message from a private email. Stop writing what we remember. Attached is a screen grab, her current laptop screen, with the paused video player open, timestamp accurate to the second. Her hands hover over the keyboard as a line types itself into her field notes. Your breath made the trail. Step quieter. Final image. She replays the last 5 seconds of the stream. In a single frame, 1/24th of a second long, the forest parting reveals a clearing. In the center, the 6th folder from box 173. Open. Empty. Kynan's voice, no longer his own, whispers from the speakers. The next chapter is under your tongue. Box 173, Archive Facility, present. Midnight. Snow has stopped. Stillness saturates the space like pressure underwater. Erica is alone. At least she believes she is. Erica's present. The folder that wasn't there. The 7th folder has no label and no folder. It's simply there, lying on top of her open notebook as if placed in offering. Inside, a printed interview transcript from 1971, marked unverified. The interviewer is listed as E. Vale. Erica has never been to this location, never interviewed this subject, but every phrase in the transcript is hers, down to ellipses and stutters. The subject's name? Erica Vale. Cracks in the medium. As she tries to dismiss it as a forgery, the lights flicker. Her voice recorder activates on its own. White noise rises. From inside it, she hears herself narrating the events of Chapter 2, verbatim. A timestamp flashes across the screen. Recording date, April 12, 1965. Her voice ends with, "You're repeating me." Digging deeper, the backwards archive. Erica rifles through a nearby drawer labeled Event Code E. Vale Metadata. Inside are reel-to-reel tapes, memo transcripts, even physical field notes, all in her handwriting but dated between 1954 and 1989. Topics include audio forensics of the Frozen, Denali, 1993. Phase delay mapping of vocal entities, Zion, 1976. Liturgical drift in nonlinear memory retention, Acadia, 1959. Each file references Erica as both author and subject, as if she's been conducting this investigation for decades or centuries, or in every time period at once. Time bends, the voice in the walls. She replays a 1974 Forest Service radio log retrieved from a ranger station in the Smoky Mountains. As static clears, her own voice is speaking. "Erica, stop opening folders. There's nothing left to reveal, only to remember." But this voice is older, slower, tired. She rips her field notebook open and finds phrases crossing through pages she hasn't written yet. The ink is still wet. The archivist reveals itself. Turning toward the locked filing cabinet previously unopened, Erica finds the drawers are gone. In their place, an alcove lined with mirrors that do not reflect her face. Instead, the mirrors show other people, some in ranger uniforms, others in oxygen masks, one seated at a film projector, labeled "Bleeding Path Raw," all of them mouthing the same word in perfect sync. Archivist. Behind them, Erica. Narrative collapse, structural dissonance. The room physically shifts. The walls unfold into pages. Paragraphs slide across her vision like curtains. Her journal flips on its own, tearing itself into readable strips before rebuilding into what appears to be Chapter 1. Again. She realizes the folders are not case files. They're edits, versions, variations of memory strung together to fabricate causality. She whispers aloud, "What happens next?" And the walls respond, "You tell us, you always do." Final beat. The printer next to her hums to life and slowly spits out one page. At the bottom, a single sentence, "End of Chapter 6." But above it, written in her own voice, she can hear it as she reads, "We are sorry to interrupt. Your archivist has been overwritten." Erica looks up. Her recorder is recording. Again. She presses stop. But the display still says REC. Unlabeled, present day. A landscape familiar yet wrong. Pine trees sway too slowly. The sun rotates subtly in the sky. Paths lead both ways at once. Erica walks here alone, guided by instinct and fragmented memory. Erica's present, retracing the loop. After confronting the collapse of her own authorship in Chapter 7, Erica flees the archive facility, carrying only the 6th folder, now blank. Her destination is unclear, but she finds herself drawn to a ranger station tucked into a wooded basin not marked on any map. Inside, the station matches the photo from Chapter 1, the one dated before her birth. It's empty, dust-free. A fire burns in the hearth, yet there's no scent, no heat. Just the sound of pages turning, but no books are visible. On the wall, a corkboard filled with photos. They're all of her. Different ages, different roles. Ranger, technician, diver, frozen child. She breathes deeply and begins to write. The escape, or so it seems. Weeks pass. Erica returns to civilization. She uploads her final article, titling it "The 5 That Didn't End." It details the events of Box 173 as a fictionalized composite. She frames it as a creative recovery project masking reality behind myth. The article trends. Comments flood in. Readers call it the scariest thing they've ever read. Too real to be fake. Erica smiles, relieved perhaps to finally contain it all in words. Then she receives the email. The final bombshell. Subject line, "You've been here too long." Body, "Why did you submit a transcript of my dream?" Attached is a single photo. It shows the email sender, someone Erica's never met, standing inside Box 173, holding an open folder. Erica is in the background, mid-turn, mid-sentence, her mouth open. But she doesn't remember this moment. There's no metadata, no sender address, just the image name, exit.jpg. Her cursor begins to move on its own. Full collapse, shift of perspective. Erica tries to reread her own article, but something's changed. The paragraphs are now in second person. You remember the frozen child. You saw the spiral carved into the canyon. You recorded her voice. You burned without dying. You are not reading Erica's story anymore. You are remembering it. You glance away from the screen and, for a breathless moment, wonder if you too are in a box, in a room, turning pages someone else has already written for you. Your hand twitches. Did you write this? Then a knock. Just outside your door. One knock, then another, and then a whisper, familiar and distant from inside the walls. You're repeating me.